So welcome everybody. It's really good to see everyone, to have this time to join together in community. I just want to take a quick scroll through so I can see all your beautiful faces. Hi. Hi everyone. Oh, thank you so much for being here together. It seems like now more than ever, community is so important. I want to just take a moment to dedicate this time to call in all the holy names of God, all the spiritual masters and guides who illuminate the path and open the way, guiding us in times of struggle and times of joy, so that we may find meaning and purpose in our time here on this planet. Amen. During this time of ongoing uncertainty, with the threat of COVID-19 ever present in our daily lives, we can find ourselves feeling weary, feeling frightened, feeling stressed, isolated, alone, and maybe at times feeling panic. The threat's real, and for many of us, come personal. We may have contracted the virus, our loved ones may be infected, and the news conveys to us daily in real time the ongoing tragedies and sufferings that are occurring worldwide. And with all that's happening, we may find ourselves at times spiraling into despair. I know that there is not a day that goes by that at some point I don't just break down into tears. And when this happens, it's important to maybe meet those feelings with a compassionate heart. And maybe we can even go beyond meeting that feeling of fear or panic or despair and take a moment to offer it some gratitude, perhaps saying, "Thanks for trying to protect me. I'm okay for now." We can offer our fear to whatever holy name of God we call to. And when we do, we can feel ourselves a part of the vast creation, the vast web of creation, part of the family of humanity. I've been thinking, and maybe like me, your sleep patterns have changed, so there's lots of more time for contemplation. But I've been thinking, what if we decided to use this time of challenge to transform the fear, transform the panic into a receptive presence from which some growth can arise? Because I believe we've all done this before. Each one of us on this call tonight carry within our ancestral lineage both the cells of suffering and the roots of resilience. Each one of us within our lineage carry the cells of suffering and the roots of deep resilience. We all know suffering. It's been a very palpable presence for so many of us right now, and I want to acknowledge that. But tonight, I also want to invite you to remember your resilience. Within our lineage, in our very DNA, 1,000 generations of ancestors who have been witness to war, depressions, famines, plagues, and pandemics. Our ancestors know all too well the atrocities of history, and they stand behind us now, offering a support we can lean into. Our ancestors are with us reminding us that we do have tools to help us through challenging times. This past weekend, we had a first-year seminary class on Zoom, of course. We've all become Zoomified beings. I think the new word is now, instead of zombie, I'm a zombie. But during class, I noticed that one of our students had a t-shirt on with one of my favorite ancestor quotes. It's a quote by Linda Hogan, and I want to share it with you. It says, "Walking, I am listening to a deeper way. Suddenly, all my ancestors are behind me. Be still," they say. "Watch and listen. You are the result of the love of thousands." Walking, I am listening to a deeper way. Suddenly, all of my ancestors are behind me. Be still, they say. Watch and listen. You are the result of the love of thousands. We are the result of the love of thousands, and we carry that love in our lineage, regardless of our spiritual tradition. Every wisdom tradition has ancestors, those that have walked the path, those that point the way in times of uncertainty and suffering. This month is a time of powerful spiritual energies. In the Christian tradition, it's the Lenten season, and tonight is Holy Thursday. In the Jewish tradition, it's the second night of Passover. And pagan and indigenous traditions have recently celebrated the spring equinox, and Islam will soon be entering the holy month of Ramadan. All of these holy days are an invitation to stop, to remember and honor those who have gone before us. These holy days are an invitation to connect with divine presence so that we can expand our vision. Within every spiritual tradition, there are tools to help us in times of struggle. We can build on the wisdom of our ancestors to find meaning and purpose, even in the most challenging times. We are resilient. And grounded firmly in resilience, we can be present to our suffering and the suffering of others. With a compassionate heart, we can imagine how we might help, and we can start to take action. Tapping into our own resilience, we can be present with a kind attention to our own experience and the experience of others. You might be thinking, how do I do that? So one way to strengthen resilience is through contemplative practice. And there are many forms of contemplative practices. They can be creativity, movement, stillness, ritual. But tonight I'm going to focus on meditation. I'd like to offer you a guided mindful meditation. It's a time for us to practice together in the strength of this community, to tap into the roots of resilience within all of us. So if you will join me, closing your eyes, if it feels safe to do so, or simply softening your gaze. Settle into a position that's comfortable and allows you to feel a bit of ease, feeling a connection between your body and whatever you're sitting on. Really feeling the stability of whatever is holding you. and how that stability is ultimately connected to the earth that is holding each of us in her generosity and care. As much as you can, allow your body to rest and release into the support of the earth, feeling the weight of your body on the earth. That's also a function of gravity, this force that Mother Earth keeps us close to her with and doesn't leave us flying off into the atmosphere. Even in times of challenge, we are supported. Letting yourself be held, embrace of the earth, of gravity. Begin to let go of any tensions you may be carrying. Allowing your shoulders to relax, releasing any tension in your jaw, letting your belly relax, letting go of all you may be carrying, and feeling the solidity of Mother Earth holding you up. The same force that has supported our ancestors supports us now. Try letting yourself take a really deep breath down into your belly and a slow, long exhale, acknowledging the breath that carries you through each day. Breathing deeply a couple of more times. A deep breath in and a long, slow exhale. And one more time. A full, deep breath in and a gentle, slow exhale. With all that's going on around us, all the fear, all the worry, we may be breathing more shallowly, holding our breath in some way. But let's give ourselves permission to take a few deep, easeful breaths, breathing in, releasing out anything we may be holding, giving ourselves the chance to let go of tensions, stopping for just a few moments to take care of ourselves. Breathing in, breathing out, slowing down. Breathing in, breathing out, slowing down. As you settle into this moment, imagine a circle of ancestors you know coming before you, encircling you. This is anyone who has been a loving presence to you and who is no longer with you on this plane of existence. Picture their beautiful faces. Feel their presence with you. Feel the support they are extending to you. And be with your clan for a moment, feeling their love, feeling their support as a grounded presence. And breathe. And now beyond the circle of ancestors you know by name, imagine a second concentric circle. Coming to this circle are all those within your lineage you do not know by name, but who stand with you, extending love and support. Feel their presence. See their presence perhaps as warm and comforting white light. Feel the strength that is a part of your lineage, the strength that is a part of your very DNA, the roots of your resilience. And breathe. Imagine now another circle. And coming to this third circle are all the great spiritual teachers, masters, and guides, known and unknown. They are the ancestors of humanity. They may appear solely as light beings, or they may appear as teachers and masters who are familiar to you. Welcome them to this ever widening circle, the web of all creation. Feel the power of the strength they offer you. Feel the warmth of their golden light, and allow yourself to connect to the power of love that is available to you. The roots of your resilience run deep. Suddenly, all my ancestors are behind me. Be still, they say. Watch and listen. You are the result of the love of thousands. Surrounded by ancestors, you are supported. In your mind's eye, look at all who have shown up. Open your heart to their offering. This lineage of ancestors is here to help you remember. Within you lies great possibility. You are the extraordinary result of the love of thousands. You are never alone. Take just another moment now to be with the ancestors, feeling their loving presence, feeling their strength that is your strength too. Offer your gratitude to the ancestors. Silently tell them thank you. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your love. Thank you for the strength we share. And breathe. Begin now to release your ancestors, knowing you can call on them anytime you need a reminder of your resilience. With gratitude, allow the spiritual masters and guides to leave the circle. With gratitude, allow the lineage of ancestors you do not know by name to leave the circle. And with gratitude, Allow the lineage of ancestors you do know by name to leave the circle. And breathe. Breathing in, breathing out. It is said that when roots run deep, there is no reason to fear the wind. The roots of your resilience run deep. Sit for just another moment, feeling the resilience that lies within you. It is available to you always. And now, infused with the strength of all who have come before you, begin to return your kind attention to this space. Connect back to your body, to this time, to this moment. Maybe wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. And when you are ready, open up your eyes and come back to your full awareness. Thank you, everyone. And now I'm going to turn the next part of our evening over to DeShannon.
Good evening, everyone. It's so good to see all of your faces. It's like the Brady Bunch times 10. And hopefully you are returning and grounded back in your body. I'm just doing as Eileen did and scrolling across and seeing all of your beautiful names and faces. So now that we have been led in that wonderful guided meditation by Eileen, I want to continue our time with delving a bit deeper into some reflection on ancestors and what they have to offer us. So I start by sharing a Yoruba proverb that goes as follows. If a child falls, he looks forward. If an elder falls, she looks back. Let us look back so that we can go forward. If a child falls, he looks forward. If an elder falls, she looks back. Let us look back so that we can go forward. And that quote is actually, that proverb is in the signature line on my email with my One Spirit account. And I keep it there because it's a reminder of when the past is necessary to serve as a teacher for our present moment, to make us more aware of what our future moments can be. When we were holding space for seminary, the first year students this past weekend, I had shared a concept from the Ifa tradition of Southwest Nigeria called the Ancestral Code of Conduct. And it seemed really relevant to share these concepts on our call and gathering tonight, because as Eileen shared earlier, and as we believe in the Ifa tradition and many indigenous traditions across the world, is that those who have gone before us are still with us. They have something to teach us so that we can learn from the lives that they lived, how they walked on earth, so that we can do better in the future and also in the present live in harmony with the earth. And so I'm going to say these words, but also type them in the chat so that you can see them as well. But some of the concepts from the ancestors that we hold are the following words: composure, respect, patience, caution, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Composure. How do we compose ourselves in a time like this during a pandemic? For those who have gone before us and who have suffered, what model do they have to teach us with how to address the problems that we have today? Respect. Can we respect some of the wisdom that was offered for us before we lived on this earth? Can we offer the wisdom of what we witnessed in people's earth walk, whether they lived lives that we want to model or whether they made mistakes? Can we respect someone else's journey and respect all of humanity and our relation to this earth? Can we practice patience? Do we have to rush in, or can we have a moment of pause? There's another trait that says patience is the father of character. Can we be patient? Caution. One of our first year students actually brought up a question around this, which I thought was so rich. What I shared is that many times my ancestors and my connection with them, they will caution me before I enter into a space, before I leave a space, before I'm about to take an action. Can I listen, or will I resist when I need to proceed with caution? Think of that yellow traffic light. Caution. Knowledge. Can I take in all that they had to share, those who have gone before me, and use that information to inform my life, to inform our lives? Wisdom. Can I look at the experiences of those from the past and gain wisdom from what I have observed? And the wisdom of the experiences that those who have gone before wish to share with all of us. And understanding. Can I understand what it is that they are trying to say? Can I comprehend? Can we comprehend in this moment of stillness, in this moment of social isolation? Even if it's not all available at once, can we make space in our prospective spiritual practices to try to gain an understanding, even in the midst of sadness, hurt, and suffering? So as I've shared these components, what I want to invite you all to, and thank you, Eileen, she just did it. This is why we work together. Eileen just shared in the chat all of the components of what we call the ancestral code of conduct, but I would also rename them as ancestral offerings. They transcend any culture. As you look at those words, composure, respect, patience, caution, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, what jumps out at you at this time? In your own life, what do you feel that you need more of to be present and move through this time with as much grounded presence and grace as possible? So what I invite each of you to do, if you feel so moved and comfortable, is to share, to type in the chat, to take a moment to sit with those words. Say them one more time: composure, respect, patience, caution, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And which one just jumps out at you? And please share. I see them starting to come in. Mm-hmm. I see a lot coming in: patience and caution, knowledge and composure, understanding, compulsion, caution. I saw a lot of patience. Mm-hmm. Thank you, everyone, for writing those words and continuing for those words to pour in. And what I would invite for all of us to do is to just, the word that jumps out at you, or maybe it's two words, to just take a moment right now and to sit with that. And we're just going to sit for a minute. And as you sit with that word, you can keep your eyes open or close them, whatever feels right for you. What would it be like for you to embody that as one of the gifts that your ancestors are leaving you in this moment to navigate this time? What would it feel like? I just saw someone also put in resilience. What would it feel like to emit that, to have that just sit in every cell of your being? What would it be like? I invite you just for a minute to sit with that. What it would be like to have patience embedded in your being, resilience, composure, understanding. I'm ringing an imaginary bell, ding. And as you sat with that word, I invite you to return to your spiritual practice after this time that we're together tonight in this online gathering, and to, in your spiritual practice, to invite those ancestors in to give you some sort of reminder of that particular word when you need it. My word is understanding. And the song that helps me to clue back into that is India Ari's Strength, Courage, and Wisdom. And I hum that song, I play that song. I invite you all to look it up. If I had more of a voice, I would sing it for you at this time, but I'm not going to do that. But what can clue you into or serve as a reminder to hook into that particular trait for you in your ancestors' gift? The next piece that I wanted to offer is something that came to me actually just a couple of hours ago as I was thinking about tomorrow being Good Friday and Jesus Christ. And for me, in my tradition and in my spiritual practice, I honor Jesus as an ancestor. And so I think of what would Jesus have to offer for me and for those I know and love in this time. And I keep thinking about the resurrection. I had a colleague who spoke of how he knows so many, he's a ordained Christian minister, how he knows many people who lament on the death of Christ. But what would it be like to honor Jesus Christ as an energy that never died? Which makes me again think of the resurrection. And we're going through a rough time right now. And with this rough time, with this transition, there is the opportunity to move out of the isolation of fear, to have a new level of understanding, so that when our resurrection comes, we will see this in a new way and prayerfully connect with each other in humanity in a way that we've never had before. So my next offering is simply, what is it that you would hope for on the other side of our resurrection? Because we cannot keep moving in the way that we have been moving, because to do so, to overconsume, to not care about each other or our planet is something that will lead to death. So what needs to die and what needs to be resurrected? And that's the reflection and offering that I am sharing with us at this time. And with that, thank you for listening. I am going to turn it back over to Eileen, who is going to share some words in a poem with us.
Thank you, DeShannon. So I chose this poem because I think that it speaks to the power of story and the power of remembering lineage, and also to honor the thousands of years of ancestors who gathered to be a part of Passover. And this poem is called Passover Remembered, and it's by Aya Renee Bazarth. Aya Renee Bazarth. Its title is Passover Remembered. Pack nothing. Pack nothing. Bring only your determination to serve and your willingness to be free. Don't wait for the bread to rise. Take nourishment for the journey, but eat standing. Be ready to move at a moment's notice. Do not hesitate to leave your old ways behind. Fear, silence, submission. Only surrender to the need of the time to love justice and walk humbly with your God. Do not take time to explain to the neighbors. Take only a few trusted friends and family members. Then begin quickly before you have time to sink back into the old slavery. Set out in the dark. I will send fire to warm and encourage you. I will be with you in the fire, and I will be with you in the cloud. You will learn to eat new food and find refuge in new places. I will give you dreams in the desert to guide you safely home to that place you have not yet seen. The stories you tell one another around your fires in the dark will make you strong and wise. Outsiders will attack you, and some will follow you. And at times you will be weary and turn on each other from fear and fatigue and blind forgetfulness. You have been preparing for this for hundreds of years. I am sending you into the wilderness to make a way and to learn my ways more deeply. Those who fight you will teach you. Those who fear you will strengthen you. Those who follow you may forget you. Only be faithful. This alone matters. Some of you will die in the desert, for the way is longer than anyone imagined. Some of you will give birth. Some will join lives along the way, and some will simply stop and create new families in a welcoming oasis. Some of you will be so changed by weathers and wanderings that even your closest friends will have to learn your features as though for the first time. Some of you will not change at all. Some will be abandoned by your dearest loves and misunderstood by those who have known you since birth and feel abandoned by you. Some will find new friendship in unlikely faces, and old friends as faithful and true as the pillar of God's flame. Wear protection. Your flesh will be torn as you make a path with your bodies through sharp tangles. Wear protection. Others who follow may deride or forget the fools who first bled where thorns once were, carrying them away in their own flesh. Such urgency as you now bear may embarrass your children who will know little of these times. Sing songs as you go and hold close together. You may at times grow confused and lose your way. Continue to call to each other by the names I've given you to help you remember who you are. You will get where you're going by remembering who you are. You will get where you're going by remembering who you are. Touch each other and keep telling the stories of bondage and how I delivered you. Tell your children lest they forget and fall into danger. Remind them even they were not born in freedom, but under a bondage they no longer remember, which is still with them if unseen. Or they were born in the open desert where no signposts are. Make maps as you go, remembering the way back from before you were born. So long ago, you fell into slavery, slipped into it unawares out of hunger and need. You left your famished country for freedom and food in a new land. But you fell unconscious and passive, and slavery overtook you as you fell asleep in the ease of your life. You no longer told stories of home to remember who you are. Do not let your children sleep through the journey's hardship. Keep them awake and walking on their own feet so that you both remain strong and on course. So you will be only the first of many waves of deliverance on these desert seas. It is the first of many beginnings, your Paschal tide. Remain true to this mystery. Pass on the whole story. I spared you all by calling you forth from your chains. Do not go back. I am with you now, and I am waiting for you. I am with you now, and I am waiting for you. And DeShannon will close out our evening.
Thank you, Eileen. In this moment, I just feel moved to honor the ancestors with the song, and it was the song that I sang with our beautiful first-year students, and I'm just moved to share this as we move into the closing prayer and have our closing song for tonight. Egungua yana waneni, yana waneni, yana waneni. Egungua yana waneni, yana waneni, yana waneni. Egungua yana waneni. That translates to mean ancestors. Please come, ancestors. We need your wisdom now more than ever. Help us wake up to remember the importance and the meaning of each and every life as sacred. As the trees is sacred, as our animal species as sacred. Wake us up so that we can stop repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again. Help us to live in right relation with our earth. When health disparities are exposed, help us to stop being complicit. When we see bias, when we see oppression, all of the things that this epidemic is exposing and shedding more light on, help us to stay awake and keep our eyes open. Help us to love and support each other. When we get to the other side, and we will get to the other side, help us refrain from falling back into our same patterns of behavior. We pray for all of those whose lives have been lost as a result of this pandemic. We pray for our healthcare workers, those on the front line, our essential workers all over the world. We pray for our local, state, national, international leaders in every country in this world to realize the interdependence of connection, that they need each other. We need them to work together. We need them to remember why they are in office. There are those in isolation who are quarantining, who are lonely right now. There are those who are suffering with illness right now. And they believe that they are alone. They are not. Their ancestors are with them, And we are bringing all of those individuals to mind right now in this moment. I invite us at this time to think of those who need our prayers, those who have passed on, the families who are the survivors of those who have transitioned and those who have died, to type the names of those loved ones in our chat at this time. And if our eyes are closed, to just open them for a moment to hold space for all of the names that are being shared, for the prayers that we are offering up in this moment. As the names continue to come in, we lift all of these people, all of us, up in prayer. All of our sisters and brothers who are suffering. Our heart breaks with them. And we know that we will get through this. Heartbreak will be transformed. I give thanks for our time together this evening, for every person and every heart on this call. We give thanks for One Spirit Learning Alliance, everyone who volunteers, every student, every person who has taken a class, every person who has graduated for a program. We give thanks for Darren, our moderator, with all of the pizzazz and grace and the deepest heart. We give thanks for Eileen, for beautifully holding the space, and give thanks to our founder, Reverend Diane Burke. May we remember to do our best to be a blessing. May we remember to serve. May we remember to treat each other with kindness, compassion, and grace. May the ancestors support us in that call. Thank you so much. This is our prayer. Ashe. Amen. And so it is.